Hello everyone, Ultimate Steve here, and welcome back to episode 3 of Solar Station. Now you're going to notice the format's a bit different here, but I'll talk about that later when I have a bit more time. So this is the second module, and the second of only 2 planned modules for Solar Station, using much the same launch vehicle. This one has a science lab and a bunch of science experiments and a bunch of cool things that I thought would be cool to do during the sun. Okay, well, really only one thing. I wanted to bring fireworks to the sun, but they ended up burning up halfway there because their temperature tolerance was so low. But yeah, anyway, as you can see, the modifications to this vehicle are not very much compared to the vehicle that got the first one there, but I have extended the nuclear stage so I don't have to do a long ion burn at apoapsis. So let's talk about the rendezvous procedure here. First of all, we have to wait until like Kerbin is in line with the orbit of the solar station, and then we can burn up, and then we can do the maneuvers at the apoapsis to get us like, well, actually no, not at the apoapsis. We're actually going to go for the descending node here, which is so we correct our plane there. So we're not perfectly at the apoapsis, but we want to launch in a way that our descending node is near enough to the apoapsis that it's not going to cause us problems further down the line. So while I'm fiddling with maneuver nodes and failing, let's talk about the new format here. I find editing and recording a bit taxing because I love to listen to music in the background when I do things, and I don't get to do that with the old format. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this format. This is mostly just experimental. I was like really tired of it during because I've been doing a lot of this recently. Like I was on a daily schedule for a while there. But yeah, so this is testing. I can listen to the music while I'm playing this. I don't have to like actively commentate, and I can also listen to the music while editing it for all the times except for recording the voiceover. And that's going to cut down workload massively, and it'll shorten the video length so you don't have to sit through half an hour of me fumbling my way through things every time. Although I know some of you might like that, so I'm probably going to keep even back the way it is, but I might just experiment with maybe even a few more formats for Solar Station, given that it's a short series with a finite length. Yeah, anyway, as you can see, we just finished up our apoapsis burn with our nuclear engine here, and we've reduced our periapsis to 200 megameters. I think actually coming up here, I actually forgot to record a little bit. Like I thought I pressed record and I didn't. So the last bit of the nuclear stage burn is gone, and the first bit of the ion stage burn is gone. Now the only interesting thing that happened there, is that we jettisoned some of the ion tanks out of order after transferring the fuel out of them in order to make them not obstruct the solar panels. Now notice here the 2 radiators are, one of them is pointing towards the sun. That was a mistake. Towards the end of build, I had to pick them up and place them down, and I forgot to reset the symmetry to mirror. So they're supposed to be like whiskers, like the solar panels are. I forget if I've used that term in a video yet, but the 2 solar panels that come up from behind the sun, from behind the spacecraft, I call those whiskers. So the radiators were supposed to be like whiskers, but they did not end up being like that. And as you can see, we have used about half of our ion fuel already, slowing down into low solar orbit. And here starts the weird business. I try and go to the tracking station and use and try and find a way to load it from the tracking station without exploding again. Experimenting with having ignore max temperature on and off to see how it works. Yes, I'm a dirty cheater, but like it's necessary. Like you cannot load a craft near to the sun, even if it is normally in equilibrium. Like even loading, you'll see on loading the space station when I get within 2.5 kilometers of it, I can't do that without ignore max temperature on either. But I turn it off shortly after, and I'm gonna be fully transparent about that here, just so you are aware. So there goes another set of ion tanks. And we're getting into a pretty similar orbit as the station here, but I spaz out here. Now, I think due to the fact that this station is a little bit unbalanced center of mass-wise, and I think something might have even exploded. I think the fireworks have exploded by now. What is it? I adjust the thrust limiter on one of the ion engines to make it make the center of thrust more in line with the center of mass, but as you can tell, that didn't really go right a few of these times. So there's another xenon tank gone, although that might have been the same one from earlier. I don't remember. And we are getting pretty close now. I think I actually try and set up a closest approach on this pass. I do believe. Actually, no. I wait a few orbits. I don't remember what I was doing, because that's one disadvantage of post-commentary, is that I don't remember what I was doing, and it's all flashing by at 5 or 10 or 2 times speed, depending on what... Okay, this one's at 10 times speed. Like, I can see the number here. I don't think you can. because different parts of the video are sped up different amounts. So yeah, I have a closest approach here, and this is the final orbit I will be making before I dock. And I just keep on pushing my velocity down and trying to keep the closest approach reasonably close. There you go, another set of ion tanks. And I think something exploded there, but I didn't see what it was because it was going way too fast. I think two other things explode, but I do think I'd zoom in. Okay, that time everything exploded, so I had to quick load and do that all again. Well, not that all, but like some of it, because I am fairly good at quick saving fairly often in this series. So yeah, we're getting pretty close now. And seeing as the total orbital velocity here is like probably about 50 kilometers per second, I have reason to believe that like this is technically, by some definition, the fastest rendezvous ever in Kerbal Space Program. Like the two objects are like I had to change my velocity the most to get here, and then the relative speeds were initially very high, stuff like that. But granted, people have probably done interstellar rendezvous with mods, so I'm like I can only claim that for vanilla, and I don't even know if I can claim that. Like, I have not done any looking for the fastest rendezvous. Oh, and our antenna explodes there, but we're close enough to the station that we can use it as a relay. But yeah, so like this might be the fastest rendezvous ever. I'm not going to officially claim that because I haven't really gone looking for counterexamples. But like, if you have reason in stock to be rendezvousing with something moving at 50 kilometers per second that's not building a station in the lowest solar orbit ever, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, so we're only 20 kilometers out, moving at below 100 meters per second, and at this point, it basically becomes a normal rendezvous. The only caveat is that we have to manage our solar orientation a little bit so that we don't burn up. And I actually did test there. I went into physics range of the station and it burned up, so we do have to indeed use ignore max temperature. Now, it takes like maybe I think 15 minutes to half an hour for the station to cool down from the heat spike after you use ignore max temperature, so I have left it on for a little bit until everything on the other station cools down. I'm going to switch to it and switch to orientation to make sure it's not overheating. So yeah, it was not overheating at that point, so I could have turned it off earlier. So yeah, it's all turned off now. And from here we can proceed to the final docking. This thing does not have very much moderate propellant, only 40, and I had managed to already use some. Oh, and there goes a solar panel, but luckily we don't need those. We just need the stations. And that brings me into another design flaw I only noticed while editing this. The docking ports and the solar panels are perfectly aligned, so if all four of those docking ports gets used, we're going to need another source of energy on the space station because, yeah, the modules will block the solar panels. Anywho, we're just about there. We're going the last 50 or so meters. Actually, is that 50? No, it's 20. Okay, I can't see. It's when I'm editing, it's a small video on my screen. It's not like full screen. It's not full resolution or anything. But yeah, anyway, I'm really surprised that the radiator closer to the sun has not burned off, but I'll take it. And yeah, so we're gonna dock to the station here. 5 meters. 4 meters. There we are, and the probe core is like 4 meters away from the docking port, so we docked at 4 meters. And after doing my shouts of victory and taking all the thumbnail screenshots about how epic this thing looks over the sun, I transferred the xenon from the tug stage into the inboard tanks. And it turns out that I actually have a lot of extra. Because I do believe the science module was about 2 tons lighter than the core module. So I did have a significant amount of extra fuel, and I actually ended up keeping the tug stage attached in case I need propulsion, and also for extra storage tanks in case I need some. That's something I might add on if I do add a third module, just more xenon storage tanks. And here I brought all the science experiments and I stuck them in a server space so I could take them without worrying about orientation. I flipped through them, and I was incredibly disappointed to learn that the devs did not add any cheeky cases for this. Granted, this is the same regime as below 1 megameter, so I guess it's not that hard to get here. But like, it was still a little bit disappointing realizing that there's absolutely nothing. There's no. I might download the community source science definitions here, and what's the word? I might download that, and like, the community science things. You know that mod, and see if they add any witty captions to the science results. But yeah, anyway, so this was a fairly short video compared to the other ones. Next time, I do believe we will either be sending the crew or sending the thing that takes them lower down to the sun. I haven't quite decided on that yet, but either way, it'll be an adventure. And I don't know what format I'm going to use for the next one, but uh, we'll see. Thank you so much for watching, and Ultimate Steve out.